3 weeks ago, my girlfriend Veronica looked me dead in the eyes and said, "You'll never leave me. You need me too much." I just nodded and smiled. 2 weeks later, when she returned from her business trip to find the lease transferred, my belongings gone, and my name missing from what she thought was our joint bank account, she finally understood who really needed whom. I'm Marcus, 31, and I teach high school history at Lincoln High. Just got promoted to department head, actually, with a nice little bump in pay. Veronica is 29, works in pharmaceutical sales, and genuinely believes I'm completely helpless without her constant guidance. We'd been together 4 years, living together for the last 2, and what started as her being helpful had slowly morphed into something I didn't even recognize until it was almost too late. See, Veronica manages everything in my life, or thinks she does. She picks my clothes because apparently I dress like one of my students. She decides our meals because I have no sense of nutrition. She even filters my social circle because my teacher friends are too immature and don't understand real adult responsibilities. According to her, I'm too scattered, too trusting, too naive to handle life outside of my classroom. The thing is, I manage 150 teenagers every day. I write curriculum, handle parent conferences, and somehow keep 16-year-olds engaged in learning about the Civil War. But somewhere along the line, I'd started believing her narrative too. Maybe I was that helpless outside of school. Maybe I did need someone to organize my sock drawer and remind me to pay bills on time. The breaking point came 6 months ago. I'd gotten promoted regular teacher to department head, coordinating curriculum for the entire history department. It came with additional responsibilities and about a $4,000 annual increase. Not huge money, but significant for a teacher. I came home excited to celebrate. You know what her response was? "Oh, sweetie, are you sure you can handle that? You know how you get overwhelmed with even regular classroom duties. Maybe you should tell them you're not ready." When I said I was definitely taking it, she sighed like I was a child insisting on touching a hot stove. That night, and this is where I should have seen the red flags, she called my principal. She had his number from back to school night. Called him to discuss concerns about my stress levels and whether the promotion might be too much pressure for someone like me. Principal Martinez told me the next day, completely confused why my girlfriend was trying to talk him out of promoting me. That conversation, a woman calling my workplace to undermine my career advancement, that's when I started planning my exit. See, Veronica had created this whole narrative where I'm the helpless man-child who can barely function, and she's the suffering saint keeping me from falling apart. She tells everyone, friends, family, random cashiers at the grocery store, how much work I am. Always the eye rolls and knowing looks whenever I speak. "That's why I handle the money," she'd say, patting my hand condescendingly. Numbers confuse him. The irony? I teach AP statistics as my elective class. I literally help 17-year-olds understand complex mathematical concepts. But I let her believe her own story while I quietly got my affairs in order. About that joint bank account, it's not actually joint. Early in our relationship, she demanded access to my finances to help manage things better. I gave her my login credentials but never actually added her as an authorized user. She thinks she's on the account because she uses my username and password. Legally, it's solely mine. She's never bothered to check the actual paperwork. 3 weeks ago, we were at her sister's house for Sunday dinner. I mentioned maybe getting my own place when our lease ends, just thinking out loud. The school district was offering some nice teacher housing assistance programs I'd been looking into. She actually laughed. "You, living alone, you can't even remember to buy groceries without my lists. You'd survive about a week before calling me crying." She rolled her eyes at her sister, who nodded sympathetically. "Men," they agreed like I wasn't sitting right there. I just nodded, didn't argue. Let them have their moment of superiority. What Veronica didn't know was that I'd already been approved for a 1-bedroom apartment closer to school. Movers were scheduled. New bank accounts were opened. Lease transfer paperwork was sitting in my car. See, Veronica works in pharmaceutical sales, which means she travels constantly. 2 to 3 trips a month, sometimes more. She had a big conference coming up in Vegas, 2 full weeks of presentations and networking. Perfect timing for my plan. She left last Tuesday morning, making sure to leave me detailed instructions for existing without her guidance. Meal prep in labeled containers, daily schedule printed out and taped to the fridge, emergency contact list her mom, her sister, her best friend in that order. She even left sticky notes on the coffee maker with step-by-step brewing instructions. "Try not to burn the place down," she said, kissing my forehead like I was one of my students. "I'll do my best," I replied, watching her Uber pull away. The second her car was out of sight, I initiated phase 1. The bank came first. Logged in, changed my password, removed all her saved devices, then transferred everything except $800 to my new account at a different credit union. Left that buffer so the automatic payments wouldn't bounce before I could update them. Not my problem if she didn't notice the account balance had dropped to nearly zero. Next, the apartment. Our landlord, Mr. Chen, is actually really understanding. I explained the situation, showed him the lease with only my name on it. Veronica had never wanted to be tied down legally, which worked perfectly in my favor now. He'd actually been wondering why she acted like she owned the place when she wasn't even on the paperwork. The transfer was simple. Gave my 30-day notice, forfeited my security deposit to break the lease early. Worth every penny for the peace of mind. Thursday, the movers came. I'd booked them during school hours, took a personal day. They only took what was genuinely mine, which turned out to be most of the furniture. The TV I'd bought before we moved in together, the couch from my previous apartment, our bed, which I'd purchased when she complained about my old futon, the coffee maker she was giving me instructions about, wedding gift from my aunt. I left her personal items neatly organized on the kitchen table, her clothes, toiletries, that meditation cushion she bought but never used, her vision board about manifesting abundance. Even left a polite note. Took only what's mine. Best of luck with everything. Friday was the fun part. Veronica had been using my streaming accounts for everything: Netflix, Hulu, Amazon Prime, Spotify, all under my email because it's easier to manage everything together, babe. Changed every single password, removed all her devices, canceled her scheduled deliveries, including a $200 monthly skincare routine that had been auto-shipping via my Prime account. I'd been unknowingly funding her entire beauty regimen for 2 years. Then I updated my emergency contacts at school, removed Veronica, added my brother Jake as primary contact. The school secretary actually seemed relieved. Apparently, Veronica had called the main office multiple times about my concerning stress levels and behavioral changes, aka me being successful and confident in my new role. My new apartment is perfect. A 1-bedroom about 10 minutes from school, with actual space for a home office where I can grade papers in peace. No ring lights, no backdrop stands, just a quiet place that's actually mine. But here's where it gets interesting. Remember how Veronica had my old bank login credentials? Well, she must have tried to check our finances from Vegas because I started getting security notifications about failed login attempts. Multiple attempts, actually, over several hours. Then came the texts. I hadn't blocked her yet, wanted to witness the meltdown in real time. "Babe, something's wrong with the bank app. It's not letting me in. Did you change something?" "Hello, this isn't funny. Fix it," I responded once. "Changed my password for security reasons. You never had authorization to access my account anyway." Radio silence for about an hour. "Then what do you mean your account? We've been together 4 years. I manage our money. You can't just cut me off." "I didn't cut you off from your money. That account only ever had my name on it. You have your own checking account, right?" More silence. Then the calls started. I declined them all. She left one voicemail, trying to sound calm, but her voice was shaking. "Hey babe, I think we're having some kind of misunderstanding. Call me back so we can sort this out like adults. You know how confused you get about financial stuff." "Confused? Lady, I teach statistics and help students calculate compound interest for their economics projects. But sure, numbers are hard." Saturday, she must have called her sister because I got texts from Natasha. "What did you do?" "Ronnie's freaking out. She says you stole her money. You can't just abandon her while she's working." I moved my money from my account to another one of my accounts. If Veronica needs funds, she has her own salary from that pharmaceutical job. You know she has expenses, her car payment, her credit cards. How could you be so cruel? Why were her personal expenses coming from my teacher's salary? No response to that one. The real explosion came Sunday night. Veronica tried to buy drinks at some networking event in Vegas and her card got declined. Not my card, her card. Turns out she'd been using my account as her personal ATM while letting her own salary just accumulate late fees on her actual bills. I'm stranded in Vegas because of you. My card got declined at a business dinner. Do you know how humiliating that was? Fix this now or I swear to God. You have your own money. Use it. It's all tied up in bills because I thought we were a team. You said I could use your account. I built my whole budget around our arrangement. You built your budget around my salary while ignoring your own responsibilities. That's not being a team. She called 47 times after that. 47. I counted because the notification number kept climbing like some kind of desperation meter. She also called my mom, my brother, even my colleague Dave, trying to get them to make me see reason. My mom's response was legendary. Sweetheart, a real partner doesn't need to sneak into your bank account. She played herself. My brother just texted me a gif of someone throwing confetti. And Dave, my department colleague, sent me a message that just said, Dude, she called me at 11 p.m. to discuss your financial competency. I teach math. I know you handle the budget for our entire department. What is she talking about? But Veronica wasn't done. This is where the entitlement went absolutely nuclear. She cut her Vegas trip short by 3 days, showed up at the apartment Wednesday night ready to do damage control, used her key, walked right in, and found exactly what she didn't expect. I got a call from Mr. Chen around 8 p.m. Hey Marcus, your ex-girlfriend is here having what I'd call a complete breakdown. The police might need to get involved. Thought you should know. I drove over only 15 minutes away now. Found 2 patrol cars outside our building. Veronica was in the lobby, mascara streaking down her face, yelling at the officers about theft and abandonment and domestic abuse. Ma'am, Officer Rodriguez was saying, looking exhausted, you're not on the lease. I live here, my boyfriend stole everything. The landlord says only a Marcus Chen is on the lease and he gave proper notice to vacate. We've verified this. We've been together 4 years, that has to count for something. That's when she saw me walk in. The look on her face went from pure rage to manipulative tears so fast I got whiplash. Baby, thank God. Tell them this is all a misunderstanding. Tell them I live here too. I looked at the officers calmly. She's not on the lease, never has been. I gave proper 30-day notice and vacated after she left for her business trip. All her belongings are inside, untouched. You can't do this to me. I manage everything. You'll fall apart without me. Officer Rodriguez looked tired. Sir, do you want to press charges for harassment? Veronica went pale. Not at this time, I said. I just want to collect my remaining items from the storage unit and leave peacefully. Yeah, I'd left a few boxes in the basement storage, nothing important, just some old teaching materials and seasonal clothes. But I wanted witnesses for what came next. We all went up to the apartment, me, Veronica, both officers, and Mr. Chen. Veronica rushed in first and the wail she let out could probably be heard in the next building. Where's the TV? Where's the furniture? What did you do? I took my belongings. Your items are in the bedroom and bathroom exactly where you left them. She ran to the bedroom, then the bathroom, then back to the kitchen. Another wail each time. You took the coffee maker. That was a gift. Wedding present from my Aunt Linda to me. The good knives. I bought those with my first paycheck from the new position. She spun around, desperate. You can't live without me. You don't even know how to budget properly. Mr. Chen piped up. Ma'am, I need to know by Friday if you're taking over the lease or vacating. The rent is $1,200 a month. I'm not signing anything. This is his apartment. He has to come back. Officer Martinez, the second cop. That's not how leases work, ma'am. I grabbed my boxes, mostly just old lesson plans and some winter clothes I'd forgotten about. As I was heading out, Veronica made one last desperate attempt. Where are you even staying? You'll be back in a week when you realize you can't function alone. I'm good, thanks. You don't even know how to meal prep properly or set up automatic bill pay. Mr. Chen muttered under his breath. You dated this woman for 4 years. The officers walked me to my car, probably to prevent further drama. As I drove away, I could see Veronica in the window on her phone, undoubtedly calling in reinforcements. The text started an hour later, not from her. I'd finally blocked her number, but from everyone in her orbit. Her mom, How could you leave our Ronnie homeless? She gave you the best years of her life. Her sister Natasha. You're heartless. She literally managed your entire existence, and this is how you repay her. Her best friend Crystal. She sacrificed her own financial independence to take care of you. Disgusting. Her cousin somehow got my number. Wow, just wow, way to show your true colors. The narrative was consistent across all of them. Poor Veronica, abandoned by the helpless man-child she'd sacrificed everything to take care of. Then came a message I didn't expect. Veronica's dad reached out not to berate me but to apologize. Son, I've watched my daughter turn into someone I don't recognize these past few years. Saw how she talked to you at family dinners. Told her mother it wasn't right but nobody wanted to hear it. You did what you had to do. Good luck. Plot twist. Even her own father knew she was out of line. But Veronica wasn't done. Not by a long shot. First, she tried financial warfare. Since she couldn't access my bank accounts anymore, she went after everything else she could think of. Tried to cancel my phone plan. I'm on my own account. Nice try. Called my credit card companies claiming identity theft. They called me to verify. We actually had a good laugh about it. Even tried to get me kicked out of my gym membership that I'd had since college, years before we even met. When none of that worked, she targeted my workplace. She sent an email to our principal, Dr. Williams, not to my department head, to the actual principal about her concerns regarding my mental stability and fitness for educational leadership. She attached what can only be described as a manifesto about how she'd been managing my psychological issues for years, and without her supervision, I was a potential danger to students and colleagues. Dr. Williams forwarded it to our school counselor and the district HR rep with a single line, "Please handle this. Seems like a personal matter that doesn't belong in our building." Our school counselor, Mrs. Patterson, called me in. She looked absolutely exhausted. "Marcus, is this your ex-girlfriend?" "Unfortunately. She's called the main office 6 times this week, emailed the entire administrative team, even showed up at the front desk Monday demanding to speak with someone about your condition. Security had to escort her out. I don't have a condition, unless you count dating her as temporary insanity. Your evaluations are outstanding, but this is becoming a security issue for the school." They issued a no trespass order against Veronica and sent her a cease and desist letter. They also gave me the option to work from home for the rest of the week. I took it. Grading papers in peace without worrying about surprise visits was actually pretty nice. But the real kicker came Thursday. My buddy Jake works at a Honda dealership across town. He texted me, "Dude, your crazy ex is here trying to trade in a car that isn't hers." "What?" I drove over immediately and found Veronica in the finance office, waving paperwork around, arguing with the manager. "It's my car, he gave it to me." "Ma'am, the registration and loan are in Mr. Chen's name only. We can't process this. We're domestic partners, not according to any legal documentation we have." That's when she saw me walk in. The mask slipped for just a second, pure rage, before switching to crocodile tears. "Baby, tell them you gave me the car." Here's the thing about that car. 2 years ago, her Honda died right before a big conference. I helped her get a replacement by co-signing the loan because her credit was terrible. We'd agreed she'd make all the payments and transfer it to her name once her credit improved. Guess what never happened? The payments came out of my account because she was managing our finances. The car stayed in my name, and now she was trying to trade in my car for a newer model. "Sir," the finance manager asked, "are you authorizing this transaction?" "Absolutely not. In fact, I'd like to discuss my options for getting my name off this loan." "You can't do this to me. You've been driving my car, paid for with my money, for 2 years. I think I've been more than generous." The finance manager suggested we could refinance in her name only if she qualified. Spoiler alert, she didn't. Her credit was somehow worse than it had been 2 years ago, despite having a 6-figure sales job. She stormed out, but not before hissing, "You're nothing without me. Nothing. You'll come crawling back when you realize you can't even balance a checkbook without me." Jake, who'd been watching this whole drama unfold, "Bro, does she think you're an actual child? You literally teach kids about financial literacy in your economics unit." Apparently, the sickest part, she'd already posted on social media about her new car, complete with photos at the dealership. Had to do some quick damage control with a post of my own. PSA, I'm not purchasing any vehicles for anyone. If someone claims I'm buying them a car, please verify with me directly. Thanks. The comments were hilarious. Mutual friends started piecing things together. Someone even commented, "Is this why V deleted her post about the BMW?" Then came what I can only describe as the extinction burst, that final desperate flurry of activity before giving up. Veronica created an actual PowerPoint presentation about why I needed her. A POWERPOINT. She sent it to me, my family, my friends, and somehow even my LinkedIn connections. Slide titles included: domestic tasks Ronnie handles, financial decisions Ronnie makes, social situations Ronnie navigates for him, why this is a mental health crisis. The final slide was a photo of us from last Christmas with the text, "Don't let him throw this away because of a manic episode." A manic episode. Because I moved out and managed my own bank account. My LinkedIn started blowing up with confused messages from professional contacts asking if I was okay. My mentor from grad school called me, laughing so hard he could barely breathe. "Marcus, did your ex-girlfriend really make a PowerPoint presentation about your inability to do laundry?" The presentation backfired spectacularly. People who'd been neutral about our breakup started reaching out to me privately. "Dude, I had no idea she was this controlling. Is this why you always had to check with her before hanging out? This explains why you stopped coming to trivia nights." Even some of her own friends started questioning things. One of them messaged me privately, "I'm starting to see why you left. This behavior is really concerning." But the final straw, the moment that ended everything, came yesterday. I got a call from my credit union about suspicious activity on my account. Someone had tried to open a credit card using my social security number. I rushed to the bank. The manager pulled up the application, which had been submitted online using my information, but with Veronica's phone number and email for contact. The shipping address was her sister's apartment. "We flagged this immediately because the contact information didn't match your profile," the manager explained. "This is identity theft. Would you like to file a police report?" Yes, I would. The detective assigned to the case was a no-nonsense woman named Rivera. She took one look at the evidence, the credit application, the harassment emails, the PowerPoint presentation, the cease and desist from my school, and said, "This pattern is escalating. Has she made any direct threats?" I showed her the latest texts from Veronica's family and friends. Most were just name-calling, but one from her cousin stood out. "She knows where you work and live now. Watch your back." "That's a threat," Detective Rivera said firmly. "We're going to pay Miss Veronica a visit." The arrest happened this morning. Veronica was charged with identity theft, harassment, and criminal threatening thanks to her cousin's helpful text message. I wasn't there for the arrest, but her sister apparently live-streamed part of it on Instagram. Classy family. She was screaming about injustice and setup while Veronica was being read her rights. The comments on that live stream weren't what she expected. "Wait, she stole his identity. Girl, your sister needs serious help. This is what happens when you can't take no for an answer. He left. Move on. This is embarrassing." Veronica's mom called me crying, begging me to drop the charges. She's just heartbroken. She didn't mean it. She tried to open a credit card in my name. She's confused. "You always handled finances together." No, she handled my finances without my permission. There's a significant difference. "Please, this will ruin her career. That's a consequence of her choices, not mine." Her dad texted me again. "I'm sorry it came to this. We're getting her help. Please follow through with the charges. It might be the only way she learns." As of right now, Veronica is out on bail. She's been fired from her pharmaceutical job. Turns out medical companies don't like employees with fraud charges. She's living back home with her parents. Court date is in 2 months. I have a restraining order. And me? My life is fantastic. Got promoted again. The district offered me a curriculum coordinator position for the entire high school. Turns out I perform even better professionally when someone isn't constantly undermining my confidence. My apartment is fully set up now. I've got a proper home office, a coffee station that doesn't require instructions, and I even joined a cooking class at the community center. Shocking revelation. I can follow recipes without supervision. I've started dating someone new, Sarah, who teaches math at the middle school. She thinks my budget spreadsheets are impressive, not threatening. When I told her about Veronica's PowerPoint presentation, she laughed and said, "Anyone who makes a slide deck to control their boyfriend clearly doesn't understand what partnership means." The best part, I found out that Veronica had been telling people I was helpless for so long that she'd started believing her own lies. Her court-appointed lawyer reached out asking for character references and seemed genuinely shocked when I provided my master's degree transcripts, teaching certifications, performance evaluations, and bank statements showing I'd been the sole income earner for most of our relationship. "This doesn't match what my client described at all," the lawyer said. "Reality rarely does with her." Last I heard, Veronica's planning to plead guilty in exchange for a lighter sentence. Her family is in therapy, her former friends have distanced themselves, and that PowerPoint presentation has become legendary among my colleagues. We do dramatic readings of it at happy hour now. The moral of the story: when someone tells you that you can't survive without them, they're usually projecting. They can't imagine life without controlling you. But here's the thing about learned helplessness: it can be unlearned real quick when you're properly motivated. She was right about one thing, though. I didn't need her. I needed her to show me exactly what I don't want in a partner. That lesson was priceless. To anyone listening who's been told they're too helpless, too stupid, too naive to make it on their own, that's complete garbage. The person telling you that is scared of what you'll accomplish without their dead weight dragging you down. Take it from someone who supposedly couldn't even remember to buy groceries without a list. I meal prepped for the entire week yesterday, made my own shopping list, even remembered to buy the good toilet paper. Living my best life, one properly managed bank account at a time.